Right now, our roller coaster week of weather continues into the weekend for the first farmers market of the season. We're live with what's new, what's in season, and what to know before you go. And bad news for drivers this weekend and looking ahead as gas prices are on the rise. Well, experts don't expect that trend to change anytime soon. Plus, get ready to jump around. The Badgers are back on the field today. We'll tell you why you'll want to check out the football team in action this weekend.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now This Morning.
Good morning, Wisconsin, and thanks for joining us on this Saturday, April 13th. I'm Josh Breiter alongside my buddy meteorologist Chris Reese. A little sunshine out there this morning. It's cool, but at least we got the sun.
That's right. Plenty of sunshine as you head out. This is a welcome change compared to the cloud cover we have seen lately. As you work your way north of Madison, unfortunately, there is a little bit more in the way of cloud cover right now. Temperatures are in the middle 30s for us, 34. Winds coming out of the southwest at 8:36 as you work your way towards Janesville. Same for Kenosha. Milwaukee at 37 at this hour. Most of these temperatures are all in the same ballpark. That is the name of the game, 30s. As you head out the door this morning, that's despite having winds out of the south and west. And we're actually going to watch this southwest wind increase as we go throughout your Saturday, eventually changing direction tonight and into Sunday. But that southwesterly wind and a little bit of sunshine is going to allow those temperatures to work their way into the upper 40s this afternoon. We're forecasting highs right around 47 later on today. Here's a live look at the upper Midwest as a whole. You see most of that cloud cover is well to our north. It's not well defined because a lot of this cloud cover is more so low level. A few snow showers across the north woods as well. But as you head out to the farmers market, grab the jacket, folks. We're staying in the 30s for most of it, perhaps some low 40s early. And then don't forget, if you are intrigued about learning about severe weather, we do have the severe weather seminar coming up from 8:30 to 4. That's at Madison College. And then from 11 to 1, the News 3 Now First Alert Weather Team will, of course, be there programming weather radios.
Well, there you go. There's reason enough right there to check it out.
There's my whole weekend.
All right, Chris, thank you. Well, the Midwest Horse Fair continues today, so if you're not one of the 60,000 people attending this weekend, you'll want to avoid John Nolan Drive and Rimrock Road. The fair is expected to affect drivers heading both east and westbound on the Beltline until about noon today. It is the largest three-day horse fair in America, including 300 clinics, seminars, and educational talks presented by some of the top horse professionals. More than 500 exhibitors will be offering items for sale. If you plan to drive this weekend, you'll want to make sure you've budgeted a little extra for gas. Gas prices are up, and experts say it's going to get worse before it gets better. The national average has skyrocketed 26 cents a gallon in just the past month. In California, it's much worse. Prices are already over $4 a gallon at some gas stations, a level not seen in almost 5 years. Refinery issues on the West Coast have contributed to the rising gas prices. Recent flooding in the Midwest also affected ethanol production, a fuel required in summer gas blends.
Really, the only way motorists can fight back right now is to shop around and be aware of various prices in their area.
With prices only expected to go higher, gas experts also recommend waiting until Monday to fill up. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are the worst days since prices tend to rise for the weekend. Well, here's your warning. You have just 2 days until tax day. April 15th is already this coming Monday, and there's some good news for Wisconsin filers right now. CBS News reports 2 Wisconsin counties made the list for the least likely to be audited. Those are Calumet and Washington counties. 8 out of the 10 most likely to be audited counties are in Mississippi. The data says Americans in poor rural counties are more likely to be audited by the IRS than taxpayers in wealthier areas. Since 2010, the number of millionaires audited has declined by half. By Monday, the IRS is expected to receive an unprecedented 14 million requests for filing extensions. Senate lawmakers say it's because the IRS is faced with more tax help questions and more complicated returns because of changes in tax law. Lawmakers also said the number of extensions was so high they even considered whether the IRS should move the filing season deadline back. Well, in more local news this morning, the Dane County Farmers Market is officially back open on the square this morning. Here's a live look at opening day. This year there are 270 members total, but they won't all be there at the same time. On any given Saturday, you'll find between about 130 to 160 vendors. There are 9 new vendors this year selling a wide range of products, including organic cranberries, organic apples, goat meat, and smoked trout. But the market's claim to fame and what sets it apart from other farmers markets is that this is the largest producer-only market in the country.
Having the producer be the person behind the stand is absolutely an amazing resource. We've all walked around the farmers market and kind of been tempted by something that was so beautiful, but you don't actually know what to do with it. Ask the person behind the stand. They grew it. They can tell you exactly how to prepare it and what the best way to eat it is.
In season right now, lots of greens like lettuce mixes, kale, and spinach. You can also pick up storage crops like potatoes, sweet potatoes, carrots, and cabbage. And like any spring, there will be lots and lots of plants. The market is open until 1:45 this afternoon. Into the Channel 3000 Alert Center, you'll want to check your refrigerators this weekend. A major food packaging company is recalling its pre-cut fruit due to the possibility of salmonella contamination. Cato Foods is voluntarily recalling pre-cut watermelon, honeydew melon, cantaloupe, and fruit medley products containing one of those melons. So far, a total of 93 cases have been reported in the outbreak from 9 states, including Wisconsin, Illinois, and Minnesota. The recalled products are packaged in clear plastic clamshell containers and sold under various brands depending on where you bought them. Retailers include Whole Foods, Target, Walmart, and Trader Joe's. You can find a link to the full list of recalled products on the Channel 3000 mobile app. A new report says the state is failing when it comes to policies on addressing lead in your child's drinking water at school. It also says most schools still have faucets or fountains containing lead, but they're not required to test for it. The Madison School District tested theirs for the first time in over 30 years in 2017, costing over $100,000. The results showed that 93% of all water fixtures in the district were below the federal standard for lead. Out of the 1,300 tested, 97 samples came back higher than the EPA recommendations. Those fixtures have since been replaced, and the district is now testing 10% of those fixtures annually. Most districts don't test at all. Environmental groups say more needs to be done.
The problem is that across the state, we don't have requirements for testing, disclosing, and ultimately getting the lead out of our drinking water in schools.
The group Wisconsin Environment is urging state lawmakers to pass Governor Evers' budget proposal, which allocates $40 million to support lead service line removal. Republican leaders won't say whether that will happen, primarily due to the cost. 8:06 this morning. Baseball is just getting started, but football fans are looking ahead to the fall as they look at the Packers preseason schedule. It features an opener at Lambeau Field and all 4 games against AFC teams. The Packers will start with the Houston Texans at home, then at Baltimore and the Raiders at a location to be determined. They're still finalizing exact dates as well. They'll finish with the Chiefs at Lambeau on August 29th. You can get your first and only glimpse of the Badgers ahead of fall this weekend. Their spring practice is today and open to the public. You may want to be there as there is no spring game this year. The team still has a lot to work out. In addition to last year's senior class, the Badgers also said goodbye to quarterback Alex Hornibrook before spring training. Coach Paul Chris seems optimistic about what he's seen so far at practice.
Obviously, we're early in that process for defining this offense's personality, and you know, we got some good pieces. Certainly, we lost some really good players, right? But we got some good players that are coming back, and so it's this group's opportunity to build their own identity.
The Badgers practice is open to the public starting at 11:30 this morning. After 50 years and at age 82, Badger band director Mike LaCrone is retiring after tonight's concert. LaCrone's career has lasted longer than any other director in the Big Ten. Mike directed the 280 band members in their final dress rehearsal earlier this week. 50 alumni have returned to Madison to perform in the concert and help commemorate 50 years.
This is it.
Getting very close, right?
Are you ready?
Yes and no. I mean, it's been an exciting year for me, obviously, but I have mixed feelings about it. I mean, I hate to quit doing something that I've done for so long, and I've had so much fun doing it. I think that's the bottom line, too. So I've accepted it. Nashville.
On Friday, Governor Evers declared April 12th Mike LaCrone Day. You can see more of Susan Simon's conversation with LaCrone ahead of his final concert in our 8:30 half hour. LaCrone's final performance is tonight at the Kohl Center starting at 7. Just about 8:09 this morning. After a wild week of weather, we've got a bit of sunshine on the way for our Saturday. Let's take a live look outside this morning. There's a shot of the Capitol Chris is in next with your first alert forecast on News 3 Now this morning.
Lots of sunshine out there this morning, especially across the southern half of our viewing area. More clouds to the north, and temperatures for all of us are mainly into the 30s. Some of us closer towards that freezing mark. Some of us getting a little bit better, closer towards 40 at this hour. 35 in Lone Rock, Janesville at 36. We are at 34 right now here in Madison, and those winds are pretty breezy out of the south and west, sustained at anywhere from about 5 to 15 miles per hour. We're going to see them increase a little bit as we head into the afternoon and evening as well, eventually changing direction later on tonight, coming more so northerly, and then into Sunday we'll start seeing increasing breezy wind from the north and east, kind of a cold wind coming off of Lake Michigan there. That is the next system that's going to be coming into the picture, drawing in more of that northerly wind. We're watching that system right now as it begins to dig across the four corners. This is actually going to be a pretty potent severe weather maker across parts of the deep south as we go through today. Right now you're looking at infrared satellite just showing you the cloud tops, and the brighter those colors are, the higher up those cloud tops are. This is showing you where those thunderstorms are truly beginning to blossom and really expand into the atmosphere, and you're seeing a lot of that across parts of northern Texas right now into Arkansas. This is only setting the stage for what's to come later on today. We are looking at a pretty widespread severe weather outbreak for our friends across the south, and perhaps a tornado outbreak today with some dangerous and pretty violent tornadoes across parts of Louisiana and into Mississippi. So if you have family and friends down there, call them, check on them, and just make sure that they are aware of the forecast as we go throughout the rest of today. Here's Future Track showing you the showers and thunderstorms that will explode across the south later on. Eventually, this system works its way towards the Great Lakes, where we are going to be on the northwestern fringe of that. So there's the smallest possibility of some rain and snow, especially across southern and eastern Wisconsin. Beyond that, attention turns to an unsettled week with higher rain chances moving in as we get you into Thursday and Friday. Again, here's that small chance for snow. This model, which is the European, is actually the farthest north and west of all of the models. Most of the modeling actually misses us towards the south and east. Watch how this one plays out. Again, 47 this afternoon. Will cool down tonight into the low 30s. Here comes that cloud cover, and notice as we go into Sunday, that precipitation doesn't even make it into town. In fact, that actually gives us an opportunity to be warmer. Right now, we're going to keep the chance in for rain and snow. It's a very slight chance, gradually warming up through the week. 61 by Tuesday, some rain chances by midweek. Next weekend looks fantastic. We're talking 65 on Easter Sunday. Talk about the return of some warmth there, then 70 by Monday.
Those temperatures looking good.
Absolutely.
All right, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure.
Well, if you are out at a park with your family this weekend, you might notice a rain gauge in one of the shelters. It's part of the city's plan to monitor rainfall in watersheds and prepare for future flooding events. Most of those gauges will be at shelters at parks. Others will be installed at city-owned golf courses and fire stations. Those will start going in this month and stay in place through November. There's some good news for Madison boaters this weekend. City parks are installing piers on Lake Mendota and Monona. So far, crews installed piers at Olin, Olbrich, Tenney, Warner, and Marshall parks. The city says it hopes to finish installing the piers at all of the other parks in the coming weeks. A plan to increase regional Amtrak service is gaining steam this weekend. The Wisconsin Department of Transportation's plan to double the frequency of Amtrak service from the Twin Cities to Milwaukee and Chicago is moving forward, which the city of Portage says can only be a good thing.
Additional train that we're talking about in each direction on the Empire Builder has, I think, the capacity to bring more people, young and old alike, and increase our workforce.
If all goes to plan, Wisconsin would see 2 eastbound and westbound trips daily. All right, 8:16 is your time this morning. The latest version of Les Mis hits the small screen this weekend, and the daytime talk show is shaking up its lineup. Plus, there are several shows and movies for you to enjoy this weekend. Will's in next with 3 things to watch on News 3 Now this morning.
If you're headed out to the farmer's market this morning, grab a little jacket. Temperatures are just above freezing for us today. And here's the deal. As we go throughout the rest of the farmer's market, we're mainly going to see those temperatures into the upper 30s, and then eventually low 40s do return to the picture. We'll see those highs today are likely right around 47 or so. And then more clouds come in on Sunday, with that chance of precipitation looking more and more likely that it will stay towards our south and east. Josh?
Chris, thank you. In entertainment news right now, big changes are ahead for an afternoon talk show on News 3 Now. Sarah Gilbert announced this week she'll leave the talk at the end of the season. Gilbert says she's torn, but wants to spend more time with her children and work on other projects. She created the show and is one of the executive producers. Along with Sharon Osbourne, she's been sitting at the talk table the longest since the show first launched back in 2010. Les Mis is coming to PBS. The 6-part miniseries based on the novel stars Dominic West and Lily Collins, who play the character Fantine. Collins calls the role her most vulnerable yet. You may remember Anne Hathaway won an Oscar starring in that role in the 2012 film adaptation. The new televised series debuts tomorrow. All right, if you're looking for something to check out here and now this weekend, Will Loper has you covered with 3 things to watch.
The law says women stay home, men go to work, but all people must be treated equally.
New on home video this week is On the Basis of Sex.
I want to be a lawyer. I want to represent clients in pursuit of justice.
Felicity Jones stars as Ruth Bader Ginsburg in the real-life story of the Supreme Court Justice's early career.
You will lose, and when you do, you will set the woman's movement back 10 years.
You don't get to tell me when to quit. I know this case disrupted our lives. Who's it for, if not for me?
On the Basis of Sex is available to rent or buy everywhere now.
The word woman does not appear even once in the U.S. Constitution.
Nor does the word freedom, Your Honor.
This Sunday marks the premiere of the final season of Game of Thrones.
I promise to fight for the living. I intend to keep that promise.
Watch Daenerys Targaryen, Jon Snow, Cersei, dragons, and more fight each other and ice zombies to see who will rule the 7 kingdoms.
They're coming. Our enemy doesn't tire, doesn't stop, doesn't feel.
Game of Thrones Season 8 premieres 8 p.m. this Sunday on HBO.
Mummies.
Finally, this week marks the 20-year anniversary of 1999's The Mummy.
So you're still here?
We've got problems.
Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz star in the adventure in which they must defeat a mummy who has come back to life.
Once this creature has been reborn, his curse is going to spread until the whole of the earth is destroyed.
Yeah? And is that my problem?
Well, it is everybody's problem.
The Mummy is available to rent or buy everywhere now.
Oh, yeah. This just keeps getting better and better.
Happy watching. Those are the 3 things you need to watch. And this is Will Loper for News 3 Now this morning.
And there's a new series debuting on Netflix this summer. It's based on the books of Armistead Maupin. Armistead Maupin's tale of the city picks up on Marbury Lane, where the books left off. It stars Laura Linney and Ellen Page. There are 9 novels in total if you want to check those out before watching the on-screen version. You can catch that starting June 7th. And of course, hysteria is building ahead of tomorrow's final season debut of Game of Thrones. It even hit the Tower of London. Tourists visiting the famous attraction were expecting a traditional changing of the sentry duty from the British Army's Coldstream Guards as they played the standard of St. George March Then suddenly, the guards switched to the performance of the Game of Thrones title song, complete with actors putting on a sword display and marching in time. How about that? We're at 8:24 right now. There's more local news ahead for us this morning. We'll have the day's top stories after the break, plus. A News 3 Now exclusive, a look back at 50 years. Susan Simon sits down with legendary UW band director Mike LaCrone as he shares some of his fondest memories and plans for the future. This is News 3 Now this morning. Right now, the end of an era. Mike LaCrone will lead the Badger Band for one final show tonight. Susan Simon talks with him about some of his biggest and best moments over the past 50 years.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for staying with us on this Saturday, April 13th. I'm Josh Breiter. Meteorologist Chris Reese will have your weekend forecast in just a moment. But first, today's headlines. A major food packaging company is recalling its pre-cut fruit this morning due to the possibility of salmonella contamination. Cato Foods is voluntarily recalling pre-cut watermelon, honeydew melon, cantaloupe, and fruit medley products containing one of those melons. So far, a total of 93 cases have been reported in the outbreak from 9 states, including Wisconsin, Illinois, and Minnesota. The recall products are packaged in clear plastic clamshell containers and sold under various brands depending on where you bought them. Retailers include Whole Foods, Target, Walmart, and Trader Joe's. You can find a link to the full list of recall products on the Channel 3000 mobile app. You can get your first and only glimpse of the Badgers ahead of fall this weekend. Their spring practice is today. It's open to the public, and you may want to be there as there is no spring game this year. The team still has a lot to work out. In addition to last year's senior class, the Badgers also said goodbye to quarterback Alex Hornibrook ahead of spring training. The practice is open to the public starting at 11:30 this morning. If you're not one of the 60,000 people at the Midwest Horse Fair today, you're going to want to avoid John Nolan Drive and Rimrock Road. Traffic is expected to be impacted in both the eastbound and westbound directions on the Beltline until noon. That annual horse fair draws a lot of people to the Alliant Energy Center. And the Dane County Farmers Market is officially back on the square this morning. Here's a live look at opening day. There are 9 new vendors this year selling a wide range of products, including organic cranberries, organic apples, goat meat, and smoked trout. The market runs from 6:15 until 1:45, and it'll be on the square on Saturdays from now until November. Well, that is a sure sign of spring, and I'm hoping for a little bit of a warm-up, but at least we got some sunshine out there, Chris.
Yeah, we will get that warm-up. Just give it a little bit of time. Of course, things a little chilly out there right now, 34 degrees. So if you're getting ready to head out to that farmer's market, you will want the jacket. Things are breezy, too, with those winds coming out of the southwest at 8 miles per hour. Most of us, well, really all of us, actually, are seeing those temperatures that are in the 30s this morning. Some of us starting to warm up into the upper 30s. 36 in Janesville right now, same for Mineral Point and Boscobel. A little cooler across the Northwoods where we are seeing more cloud cover as the sun begins to rise. Those temperatures are going to take off as much. Here are those winds out of the south and west. 15-mile-an-hour winds. You can work your way down towards Platteville. We're all going to watch these winds increase just a little bit as we do head into the afternoon. And that southwesterly wind should be just enough to push those temperatures towards 47, maybe even upwards of 50 degrees today as we move into the afternoon with enough sunshine in place. So keep that in mind. But for the most part, we will stay mainly quiet and dry going throughout the day. Good conditions as you head out to the farmers market, so no needs to worry about rain or any kind of snow coming down. Of course, we are entering into severe weather season, so we do have the seminar coming up from 8:30 to 4 at Madison College. And of course, the weather team will be there programming weather radios from 11 to 1, so feel free to check that out. We'll keep you guys informed on what to prepare for the severe weather season coming up. Josh.
All right, Chris, looking forward to that. Thank you. The Bucks begin their NBA playoffs tomorrow night in Milwaukee. The number 1 seed faces the number 8 seed in Game 1 at Fiserv Forum. Game 2 is Wednesday before the series goes back to Detroit next Sunday and Monday. And there's every reason to believe the Bucks can do something in the playoffs this year, despite their rather disappointing playoff history. The Bucks haven't won a playoff series since they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals in 2001. But now they've made the playoffs 3 seasons in a row, looking to break through with a few series wins this go-around.
Well, I think we're a more confident team right now. First place in the league, 16 wins, and we have home court. So I think all those together gives us just a lot more confidence to forget about the things in the past in some ways, just keep moving forward.
News 3 Now will bring you team coverage of that. Well, tonight is the grand finale for the Badger Band's beloved and enduring director. Mike LaCrone is getting ready to pass the baton. Before he says goodbye, though, he shares some memories and his plans for the future with our Susan Simon.
The leader of the band brings to life the heart and soul of a university. There will never be another quite like Mike. Mike, you know, they say at a moment like this, your life sort of flashes before your eyes. Is that what's happening this week?
Every day.
Every day?
Every day somebody comes up and says either, thanks for what you've done with the band, thanks for the years.
This weekend marks a bittersweet milestone for Mike LaCrone. After 50 years and at 82, Mike is retiring after leading the spring varsity band concert for the final time. I've heard you say to your band members so many times to remember these moments of happiness.
Moments of happiness.
Are you doing that yourself?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, in fact, that's the title of the program this year.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, we've on the program that we're handing out in the Kohl Center. It's called Moments of Happiness. I've done what I've told the students to do. You know, take it in and remember it, because it might be something that you have to call on a little bit later in life.
You've provided me with so many moments of happiness.
Tears flowed in August when Mike told the band this would be his final year.
I can't even begin to state it, but I will tell you, those moments of happiness are what have gotten me through any difficult time.
At his last home football game, alumni of the band returned to Camp Randall to say thank you. Is it true that you remember almost all of your kids? You can remember their names and...
I remember them from way back, and now some of them have changed a little bit. But the interesting thing is I can always remember their instrument immediately, no matter who they were. If I see someone come up who was a trombone player in the 70s, I would know right away trombone.
At his final dress rehearsal at the Kohl Center, Mike and the band practiced for 5 hours and prepared for one last legendary fly-in.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's hard to express what Mike has meant to the band and what they have meant to him.
We gave each other a sort of a cooperative thing that we could do, and we all feel it. I think anybody who's been in the band even 1 year senses that camaraderie that's a part of the band, and that's what makes it work. That's the reason I've done it for all these years, is to have that feeling over and over again.
The traditions Mike started, the 5th quarter and the chicken dance, will all live on. But as the school year comes to an end, Mike can't quite bring himself to start packing. How long have you been in this office?
Since 1969. And
the year you came?
Yep.
You've had the same office the whole time?
Yeah, and it was... We've decorated a little bit.
Mike's campus office is a museum of 5 decades of Badger memories, but one stands out above all the rest.
The Rose Bowl.
That's the first one?
Yeah, and that was such a special event for me. It still remains as the highlight of what I did. It was an amazing time. That 1993-94 season was just so unbelievable. Everything worked. The response when the band just made an appearance around a corner or came down the street, people could catch a glimpse of the way the people responded to it. It was just a moment anybody who was there would never forget it.
Well, people may not remember that it started in Japan, the road to the Rose Bowl that year. Did the band go to Japan?
We took 70 people, and that's another thing. I mean, here, this was, for most bands, that would be a major touring thing, but now when you talk about it, oh yeah, we were in Japan too.
How many Rose Bowls have you been to?
6.
And is there ever anything like the first one?
No, not like the first one.
Mike has had his share of tough times too. He lost his wife of 62 years, Phyllis, 2 years ago, and had double bypass heart surgery after that. But as he starts this new chapter, Mike remains vigorous and hopeful. So what are you going to do in retirement? Are you going to stay in Madison?
I am staying in Madison. My kids are all in the area, and I'm going to plan to stay here. I probably will try to get out of the cold weather occasionally, which I didn't have the opportunity to do before.
But before he says goodbye, there will be one more iconic moment as Mike Leckrone takes his final bow. That final varsity.
It will be hard, but I think it's going to be one of those very special feelings that I have, and it's that moment of happiness that there may be a little bit of sadness along with it, but that's the part that I'm going to really remember.
Susan Simon with that story there. Tickets for the remaining concert, unfortunately, are sold out, but you can still see Mike's farewell. Wisconsin Public Television will live stream the concert tonight at 7 at WPT.org. 8:38 this morning. Are you still looking for something to do this weekend with the family? Well, we've got some ideas for you. Still ahead, from a wildly imaginable show for kids of all ages to a road trip destination that'll help you get ready for the Bucks playoff run. We've got you covered in your Weekend 608 on News 3 Now this morning. Welcome back at 8:42. It is the weekend in the 608.
And here's a look at what's going on around Madison.
First up today is Record Store Day. Nothing says hipster like vinyl records. To celebrate, the Wisconsin Vinyl Collective is hosting an album release show at the High Noon Saloon tonight. The show will open with local Americana roots, folk rock bands, Lost Lake, Bascom Hill, and Mascot Theory. And the headliner is Michael Perry and the Long Beds. Yes, that Michael Perry, the best-selling author of Population 485, Truck, and other books. As it turns out, Perry writes songs as well as homespun stories. Tonight at 8, we'll find out if he sings too.
All right, we're going to have a little bit of fun with this one because it is Saturday morning. Hold on.
Oh boy.
Hey, it worked. I don't know if you all can see that. We've got some bubbles going. Josh, I'm going to have you blow while I talk. I know there's like a whole distance between us here. But this is the most wildly imaginative event happening this weekend.
I'm failing.
Underwater bubble show, okay? It's alternatively titled The Unexpected Journey of Mr. B in the Colorful Underwater World of Bubblelandia. In any case, Mr. B will take audiences into his lavish underwater realm inhabited by giant seahorses, mermaids, cloudfish, inflatable balls, and of course lots of bubbles. Great job there. Great job. Doing better than I did. Now, Mr. B will put on 2 shows at 3 and 6 tomorrow in the Overtures Capitol Theater.
I will say we did practice to make sure this was going to work. So.
Not every day you get to do this one.
And if you take a road trip to Milwaukee this weekend, it's kind of green there to go along with this. The Milwaukee River is going to look a little different. The city has successfully turned the river green there in celebration of the Milwaukee Bucks tipping off their playoff run this weekend. The Bucks, with an NBA best 60 wins, will play their first ever playoff game tomorrow night at 6 against the Detroit Pistons at the Pfizer Forum. News 3 Now will have live coverage from Milwaukee this weekend.
And if you are looking for your sports fix but without leaving Madison, head down to Camp Randall. Today is a big day around the stadium. From 9 to noon, there's a Badger Kids Fair at the McLean Center. You can get in entering gates 2 and 3 or 3 of Camp Randall. And then from 10:30 to 11:30 at the Field House, Director of Athletics Barry Alvarez will have a town hall type question and answer session that you can attend. And then at 11:30, practice will be open to the public. It is expected to run for about 2 hours.
And remember, you can get this month's Madison magazine for all of the best in the Madison area. And I'm all like sticky from that.
I know. I'm just having fun with the bubbles here. That's great.
Too much fun here.
I know. Well, you're waking up to some sunshine this morning, but things are, of course, still cool out there. This is a live look over the Capitol right now. I'm talking the return of some more snow shower chances. I'll have your full forecast coming up after this break.
I don't believe you. But first, if you have a little kid turning 3 soon, please let us know so we can show their picture on TV. Thanks for watching News 3 Now this morning.
Temperatures are in the 30s this morning, but things will get a little bit better as we do push forward into the afternoon. 34 in Madison right now. Mineral Point and Boscobel, you guys are both at 36. Same for our friends down in Janesville this morning. Winds, though, are going to be coming out of the south and west. That actually helped keep those temperatures a little bit warmer overnight. And we're going to keep the southwest wind around as we go through the rest of your Saturday as well. Southwest at 8 miles per hour here in town, 14 miles per hour. It's the sustained wind as you work your way down towards parts of Grant County. As we push forward through the afternoon and evening, here we are at 3:30. We'll see more of a westerly wind at this point, likely sustained around 16 miles per hour here in Madison. And then we'll continue to watch this begin to actually take a transition until coming out of the north and east as we move into your Sunday. That northeasterly wind is actually ahead of our next system that has the chance to throw some precipitation our way. We are watching that system across the four corners right now. There's a big dip in the jet stream, and at the base of this jet stream, we call this little dip right here a trough, but at the base of that is where you will actually find the region of low pressure starting to intensify across parts of Texas right now, and this will likely be a pretty big severe weather maker for them later on today. These are the cloud tops just showing you where the showers and thunderstorms are really beginning to blossom into the atmosphere, and those clouds really shoot up in height, and so this is what the satellite is able to tell us. But pay attention to what's developing now across parts of central eastern Texas. These showers and thunderstorms that you see starting to pop up are moving into an environment that is highly unstable and conducive for some strong to severe thunderstorms. So this is where we have the red bullseye. This is a level 4 out of 5, also known as a moderate risk for severe thunderstorms later on this afternoon. Everywhere in this red shading is likely to see some pretty strong and potentially violent tornadoes as we head through today. So we're going to watch that one closely. Of course, some showers of thunderstorms starting to head that direction now. Eventually, this system starts to work its way towards the north and east. That'll produce perhaps some light snow in extreme southeastern Wisconsin, but it's also possible that that system misses us altogether. Then more rain chances arrive as we head into Thursday and Friday. Of course, we're going to watch that one. But for now, expect things to top out into the upper 30s and low 40s for your Sunday. And notice how the models are actually struggling to watch that system or to get that system into Wisconsin. For the most part, they are trying to stay mainly south and east of here. So we'll watch that into Sunday. Right now, a little chance for rain and snow, but we could actually trend that forecast dry. Stay tuned on any updates there, but we get better throughout the week, especially
all right. Good to see that sunshine returning.
Yeah.
We've got a good My Morning picture to show you this morning. Dan Cassidy posted this on Facebook of a sunrise over the Sugar River. Beautiful shot there, Dan. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. What does your morning look like? Take a picture and post it to the Channel 3000 social media pages. Well, coming up tomorrow morning, we are diving into a growing crisis, plastic in our waterways, how the growing form of pollution could make its way into the food that ends up on your plate. But first this morning, from the wild to adoption in 90 days, a Madison police officer competes in a first-of-its-kind challenge at this weekend's Midwest Horse Fair. A preview when News 3 Now This Morning returns.
Well, the Midwest Horse Fair is in town this weekend, drawing hundreds of horses and riders from across the country.
Yeah, one local trainer is getting ready for a unique competition helping horses find homes. Maddie O'Neill tagged along to find out how they're making it happen.
Good girl. I definitely had my doubts. In the beginning, I was like, what did I get myself into?
Horse trainer Alyssa Palmer knows all about sticking with it.
I definitely need a lot of patience, especially with this horse.
She needs it with her day job, too.
It is a little different.
Though from her surroundings,
Good. Better.
you might not be able to guess what that is.
I've been with the City of Madison Police Department for almost 10 years now.
At first glance, you'd also never know the tale behind her horse.
I figured that she'd probably be a bit of a renegade.
Named Calamity Jane.
No, she's super sweet. As soon as she got over being scared of me,
it's pretty wild.
But there's too many wild horses out on the public lands. Good. Here.
As part of the Midwest Horse Fair's Mustang Challenge, Alyssa had 90 days to train the feral horse after bringing her home in January.
She was terrified of me at first, yeah.
From the Antelope Valley in Nevada to Alyssa's home in Spring Green, the path to trust is never easy.
The very first day I had her, I sat in a lawn chair in the pen with her with a cup of coffee for an hour.
With time, persistence,
and I was out there when it was negative 40. We were out there working every day.
And plenty of treats.
And by the 10th day, I was petting her all over.
The two grew close.
She's all over me. She trusts me.
Gaining more ground than Alyssa thought possible.
We truly become good friends in a short period of time. Good girl.
But the whole goal of the competition.
This is to show how cool these horses are and find them a home.
In partnership with the Mustang Heritage Foundation and the Bureau of Land Management. The competition gives 50 competitors, including Alyssa, a wild Mustang, with the goal of gaining their trust and making them adoptable.
My goal was to not be last, so I'm pretty proud of where we're at.
And proud of the path they've walked together.
I wouldn't be heartbroken if she didn't sell.
Maddie O'Neill with that story there. The Midwest Horse Fair Mustang Challenge continues tonight when the top 10 finalists advance to the final show.
All right. Well, plenty of nice weather out there this weekend if you want to, at least today anyway, if you want to head out. Into Sunday, though, things are going to get a little bit more cloudy, and we do have the chance in there for some rain and snow right now. The model's still kind of differing on how far north they want to bring that system, but odds are trending that we keep this one a miss towards the south and east. We'll watch that. Stay tuned throughout the day. That one's going to be just a little tricky for us, but 61 by Tuesday. Some rain chances, though, in the 50s throughout the middle of the week, and then next weekend is definitely the pick weekend, especially Sunday and into Monday.
All right, Chris, thank you. I'm off tomorrow, so Maddie will be joining you on the couch, keeping you company.
Thanks for the heads up.
I'll see you back on Monday morning. In the meantime, make it a great day, everyone. Get out there and enjoy that sunshine.